Founded in 1889, the University of New Mexico sits on the traditional homelands of the Pueblo of Sandia. The original peoples of New Mexico, Pueblo, Navajo, and Apache, since time immemorial, have deep connections to the land and have made significant contributions to the broader community statewide. We honor the land itself and those who remain stewards of this land throughout the generations, and also acknowledge our committed relationship to Indigenous peoples. We gratefully recognize our history.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Next slide. And thank you so much, Doug, for joining us. And we're going to hand it over to you.
Great. Well, first, thanks everybody on this Zoom for all the work you do every day, and particularly in the Inclusive Excellence Council. By a show of hands, how many of you have been in either a town hall or some other forum where I went over the strategic plan? Okay, so that's most of you. So I think I'm going to spend 1 minute for the people who didn't raise their hand, and then I will put that PDF in the in the chat. But my hope is to make sure that this group really expresses their voice, plus cascades down to your teams the survey link, so that we can make sure that IEC's really your priorities are clearly there. So I'm going to only rapidly go through this. So lots of gratitude to all of you. We're aligning with UNM 2040. We're aligning with all the other strategic plans that have been going on since the airplane's in motion. And we're really trying to reach out and engage a lot of people. I've spoken to at least 2,000 people in the last 3 weeks about our plan. We're getting about 1,000 some responses, but I want to make sure your voices are heard. If you just took away this one slide, the links to the idea scale and the survey, because here's the thing, idea scale is public, so the IEC priorities should be just bouncing off the page in the idea scale. And because they're so public and easy to share, and nobody's going to be embarrassed about sharing the priorities of IEC. Somebody else might not want to share about moaning about somebody, but you all are doing great, important work that should pop on many of those pages. We're on week 16, so work groups they on Friday got all the input from anybody who contributed input. So if you're on a work group, you either saw it Friday or you're going to see it soon. It's in the Teams folders that Deloitte uses. But all that feedback is now going forward, just so you know. I'm reading it, and so are the work groups. So we've done our mission, vision, values, our 6 areas, the priorities, the goals. This is our current statement. Again, you as a group could look at this, give feedback. Does it make sense? Would everybody understand it? And you'll have this PowerPoint when I'm done. I'll put it in the chat. And these are our 6 areas. On the bottom in the gray, that's what UNM 2040 focused on, advanced New Mexico. Well, that includes our clinical system, our research and economic development. The student experience and educational innovation is literally one of our 6. Inclusive excellence, we didn't want as a separate category, we wanted it everywhere. So you have an opportunity to influence everywhere, all 6 areas. Sustainability, people and money, and resources and space, we thought that was an issue for everybody. And the work groups are now going to be moving into that space of we're prioritizing. And one university, again, we thought it ought to be in everything. So here is our current version of that, and you'll have this in your handout. And if so workforce development, IEC issue, behavioral health, IEC issue, health equity, IEC issue, research and economic development, IEC issue, clinical care, IEC issue, student experience, IEC issue. So, you all can help us a lot. This is workforce example, just to show you that was the design lab. These are enablers. Money matters, but it's not the only thing. There's lots of other stuff. The work groups are working on these things, creating action steps, targetable outcomes, measurable outcomes, and resources and timeline. And these are just tools used. And again, those are the two critical things. But I thought actually I'll put that in the chat, or, oh, Gina, thank you for doing that already. But I thought I'd open it up for you as a group to, you have a few minutes to share with me anything you'd like to share about the process, or, specific things that you would like us to make sure that I convey when I meet. We have a planning committee meeting at 2:00 today. So anything you say now, Gina's recording and writing, and we will make sure to include it in our conversation at 3 today.
Dr. Ziodonis, Elena Bissell from Family Medicine. I have a very naive question, and I do apologize, but does this align UNM hospitals as well? Because I feel like very often those two missions don't necessarily align.
Thank you. Well, for me, that's my everyday to make sure we're trying to align even better. I think there are reasons organizations fall into silos: safety, trust, institutional racism, many other things. So I think that we need to appreciate sometimes people reinforce those silos, and sometimes they are the culture that we have to work on. So I count on you all for that too. Now, you have members on this team that are more hospital aligned because of what they do, and more that are health science, and some like me that try to do both every day. All the CEOs, all the health leaders are involved in this process. We agreed that we would like, to make sure that one of the key goals for this project is that integration. But your question's brilliant. But that to me is actually one of the hardest things. We will come up with a plan, we will work together, but it's really that working together that will help us do better. And you all represent all the units. So you're a microcosm of the bigger story. And thanks for bringing that to our attention, because I think it's so easy to not remember that vital part.
Dr. Ziodonis, this is Angela. I have a question about how you showed these sort of 6 pillars that the strategic planning is taking place around. And I'm on one of these, but not all of them. And I'm just wondering how these will come together or be integrated, either identify the overlaps between them or the interconnections. I mean, it's a circle, so hopefully they're interconnected, but how do you retain the richness of the contributions and integrate them across the units?
That's great, because that is the next phase. Once your work group is going to, we probably have like 3 groups of work groups, if I lump them. One that's really working hard on all the tasks, getting them done, all the forms look good. Then another where there's lots of dialogue and less writing. And now I have asked Deloitte to be more helpful for that group that likes to talk but not write. That's okay. No problem. And then we have what I'll call the third group or second group where there's big divides in the room. And people are respectful but dialoguing. And it's like there's a finish line, and I hope they can come to a compromise by the time they cross the finish line. But of course, that's an artificial finish line. So I don't know which work group you're in, but if any of them sound like the one you're in, then that's kind of how we're looking at it now. The next phase then will be to go toggle back to the big vision. And you all, it would be great to hear how you would think about in 5 years. I hope UNM Health and Health Sciences is like this. This is the vision I would want to see. Or in 10 years, what would that vision look like? And I think those visioning will bring us to look at the integration again in another way. So that's what I've already been talking to many of the work group leaders, that we're going to have to toggle back to your exact question. How does this come across? Because I said to Deloitte literally today earlier, what if everybody came in with $800 million requests? Well, A, we couldn't do it. And B, we would still have to figure out, we can't just do it 800 times 6. There will have to be some cross-talk, cross-fertilization, and mutual prioritizing. Like if you're the research group, how does the clinical system support research, and how does the research support the clinical system would be another level. Thank you. 2 great questions. Have you been able to cascade this to your colleagues? Because, I rely on chairs and deans, but unless you're a chair or dean on this call, you all are important leaders also that have constituents and groups that you can make sure to ask them. I've also asked leaders, like I just met with the staff council for all of UNM. And I said, some people will like to fill out forms online, others won't. So could you also just have a dialogue with your team and convey that information as a summary of the dialogue? I mean, everybody I want personally everyone to feel like we asked them and they had an opportunity. They could choose not to do it. That's okay. But that's really my first thing. I just want to make sure everyone felt like they had an opportunity. And just by how much feedback we've gotten already, we've gotten a lot, but we don't want to stop. JP.
I guess to that point, if I was to bring it to a departmental meeting, if, in conjunction with Diane Rimple, the chair of emergency medicine, or to a unit meeting, collect information, just can you share once again where you would want that feedback submitted, in that type of circumstance?
Well, we've had 2 strategies. One where Gina gets emails, and so that can be one easy email to remember. And then after I say this, Gina usually puts her email in the chat, but you all know her. The second strategy that we've done is if you had a targeted work group, like if your group really had a lot of feedback on research, you could look on the list, and Dr. Jill Klar is the leader of the work group. Not for research, sorry, she's for clinical. Dr. Mark Unruh's for research, and you could send it to Mark. But Gina, if you just want to send it all, because I could imagine an emergency medicine department meeting wouldn't be siloed to one strategy area, it'd probably cover them all. Dr. Nervy.
Yes, thank you. I have a question. Is Are there any provisions for this planning team to use the results of our institutional climate survey that we are spending substantial time in designing and then in encouraging all our community to answer?
Sometimes it's life is timing. So if you have it done in the next couple, in the month of February, then I'd say yes. If the answer is no, then that would be important for the work group to have as one of their strategic goals is to review or maybe this would be a tactic, but review what you just said and see how it influences our strategic planning. Because remember, this is not something where we come down with one thing set in stone and it never changes. This is really a dialogue to try to hear the voices, to raise the issues of how our clinical system and our health science work together. How do our different colleges and schools work together? How are we attending to inclusive excellence? And as more data comes in, it'll evolve. But this is our first we're not really post-COVID, but post the acute phase of COVID. And we now live in a different world. So some of that is going to be reflected in the strategic plan. Where people work, how we work together will be an example of what are our capital needs? How do we support people in different settings? But for sure, the hard work you're doing will be reviewed by leaders and will help shape the future.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Doug, for giving us an update on the strategic planning and spending time with us to review questions. I want to make sure that we also have time for Angela to present and some of the other IEC members. So thank you again. And as always, you're welcome to stay on, but I know you're extremely busy. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks to all of you. And if you had a question not answered, send it to Gina and we'll make sure to process it today.
Great. So we're just going to go over a couple of announcements and updates, and we have some of you providing those announcements and updates. Next slide. So first of all, we want to send a huge congratulations to Shelley McLaughlin, who will now serve as the UNM Health Sciences Interim Director for Student Academic Affairs. So please extend congratulations to Shelley. I believe she's on with us today. And Shelley, I don't know if you would like to make any comments or mentions. She might not be on. Next slide. As well, help me in congratulating Akshay Sood, who will be serving as the UNM Health Sciences Interim Director for Faculty Academic Affairs. Congratulations again, Akshay. No.
Thank you.
Great. And I believe, Krista, you're up with an update on the climate assessment. We can see your slides, Krista.
All right, thank you. So an update on the climate assessment. This will pick up from October of last year all the way through today. We have conducted focus groups, and there was some background work that took place in conducting the focus groups. It was determining who the focus groups will be, getting participants in the focus group. And so there was a lot going on between October through the very end of November to conduct those focus groups. Focus groups took place in December, first week in December. And our participants, the number of participants ranged from 1 to 12 in the focus groups. The average number of participants was 6. Next, those focus groups are leading us into survey development. The committee that is working on that is working diligently. And if you notice in my header, I have the timeline October 22nd to January 2023. You might be wondering, well, it says to be finalized on February 5th, 2023. That's because we on the committee are working really hard to get our final words into the Rankin and Associates by the end of today. And we are giving a strict, tight timeline by the end of this Friday, because we're going to come prepared, ready to discuss and move forward, because then Rankin and Associates staff will be developing the survey from there. And it's been really exciting. I just want to give a shout out to the committee who has been working diligently to do that. And it's a very thoughtful group. There's a lot of discussions, so it's been exciting. We've also, in the meantime, been working with communication and marketing to make sure that there is a lot of information that is being sent out and will be sent out for our survey that will be administered late March and early April. And I do want to give a brief update to everybody about who were the focus groups. I'm going to just stay on this slide for 20 seconds so you can read through this slide, and then I'm going to move to the next slide. Sorry. I'm going to move to the next slide so you can see who are continuing to see who our focus groups were. The committee worked really hard to make sure that everybody was involved as a focus group. As you're reading that, I'm going to share with you a little bit more about how we developed the focus groups. As a committee, we reviewed the list, we brainstormed groups, we considered safety and comfort level, and people making sure that they have voices, people feeling safe and sharing. And these are the groups that we came up with. Lastly, I want to mention to everyone who all the members are. The focus group participants, these are our HSC colleagues, everybody who contributed to the focus groups. They're going to help us to determine the best questions to ask on our survey. The core team members, and then the core team committee members. We are going to be selecting the survey questions, trying to be mindful at administering a survey that will not create extreme fatigue, but also get us the depth of information that we need. And then communication team members. There has been an all things artwork group members who have begun to coordinate. We are meeting this Thursday at 4 o'clock. If you want to be on that group, this is a group that's going to be bringing excitement and centering attention to the assessment in the style that I presented to you that took place at the College of Pharmacy. If you want to learn more about it, please feel free to private message me and I can get you up to date on it. And then I also wanted to recognize Rankin and Associate staff who have been helping us. That is the update that I have since October. Anything that anybody would like to add that I haven't stated? All right, thank you.
Thank you for that great update, Krista. Caroline?
Yes, I just want to let people know, thank you, man. That was really good, Krista. That we, as you recall, at some point I talked about the fact that the College of Nursing is having a climate survey done for the nursing students here, and that is through our organization, the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, which is has a set survey already that they have used and has established validity and reliability. And we were selected as one of 28 states to participate in this. And I just got the IRB done literally on Friday, which took several iterations. So we actually will be sending ours out hopefully end of February, early March, and we will be done with it. And it will only go to College of Nursing students. So we will also have that data, and we will be able to use it. I think it'll be interesting to see, if there's changes between the two. But just to let you know that that's still going forward. Just took a while on the IRB.
Great. Thank you, Carolyn. And mentioning the IRB, I do want to remind everybody that this assessment tool that we're using has gone through IRB review and will continue to go through IRB review, but you will see that coming up in our February through whatever date we end timeline, because it will begin in February.
Great, thank you. I think next up is Dion and the Heritage Month activities. And let me just quickly say thank you again, Doug, for sponsoring HSC community members to attend the kickoff event for Black History Month this past weekend. We received several emails from participants that had a great time, and we're grateful. Dion?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this Heritage Month. I'm excited to kind of state to the group that we have 3 events for Black History Month that should be very exciting. The first one being a presentation or a guest speaker, Sylvia Drew Ivy. She is the Senior Special Assistant to the President and CEO for External Affairs for the new HBCU Medical School, Charles R. Drew, University of Medicine and Science. And she's done a lot in healthcare advocacy in her own right on a national and local scale. But, on top of that, she happens to be the daughter of Charles R. Drew. So the namesake for the university, the HBCU, and as many of you may already be aware, Charles R. Drew is a pretty famous African-American physician who kind of pioneered blood transfusion. And he also is the one who invented the process of using plasma to help burn victims. So her talk will kind of center around those varying aspects. So she'll be able to discuss kind of the roles of HBCU medical schools, the development of Charles R. Drew University, as well as, discuss the namesake of the university, her father briefly, and what he's kind of contributed to the field of medicine, and then also kind of sharing her personal experiences with national healthcare advocacy. So I'm very excited that we were able to secure her as a speaker and excited for her presentation on February 16th. Over the lunch hour. The next event will be trivia. And so this will be another great way to engage students, staff, faculty, whoever wants to attend. We're going to have this event hybrid at this point. And the winners, the 3 top winners will receive a merchandise card to like Starbucks or something like that. But the trivia itself will pertain to historical African-American figures in medicine, and also just fun facts about medicine and African-Americans in general. And then our third speaker will be our very own Dr. Anita Fernander. She'll be talking about critical race theory, and that'll be on February 23rd. So very excited for the lineup that we have as far as guest speakers. And also last year, Black History Month trivia was a big hit. So I'm hopeful that it'll continue to be so this year. And we've updated some of the trivia questions as to not allow for any bias from anybody who may have attended last year. So that way, we keep things honest. But yeah, does anybody have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Dion. This looks great.
I have one question. I'd like to just put this out to all of our students. I know that it comes out in the communications, but sometimes when it comes from the dean, they pay a little bit more attention to it. So I just want to be sure that the Drew one is virtual, right? And as is the critical race theory, correct?
Correct.
And then the other one will be a hybrid. And then I'll tell them to look in campus communications for more information.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I think to your point, Carolyn, on the HSCDI celebrations page, we've also listed additional events being primarily hosted by main campus. And we want you to continue to let us know if there's certain events being hosted by SRMC, CON, COPH, whoever's doing anything, just send the information and Jose, who's on, will post it on one calendar just to make it easier for people to look at one place and sign up and disseminate it. So hopefully we're making it easier for everyone. So thank you again, Dion, and for everyone's contributions. The Women's History Month Planning Committee are considering 12 events. So if you have an event, please let us know as well. And we'll be finalizing those over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Next slide.
Dr. Sanchez, I just wanted to mention that the UNM Black Alumni Chapter also came together Friday evening at the UNM Alumni Chapel for a memorial service for Barbara Brown Simmons. She was one of the founders and the first woman graduate from the UNM School of Law. And she was one of our longstanding partners. And that was a prelude to the event on Saturday for Black History Month to kick off with Africana Studies and African American Student Services. So we were grateful to come together with our partners on Friday evening to celebrate an amazing, legendary leader.
Great. Thank you so much, Lawrence. Lindsay?
Yes. So this is an opportunity to just make sure folks are aware of the 2 sections of our Community Connection and Reflection Book Club. One is still the HSC-wide one that we have 3 days each month that meets for folks to join. Also, there's a newer IPE honors section that meets on the 3rd Friday of the month, which is meant just for a space for our IPE honors students to come in and connect around the same books. We have the schedule posted on the webpage, so you can all go and check it out. This Evicted book has been a really powerful one for me to read, and anyone who thinks that housing isn't cross-cutting all of our issues really should read this book and have an opportunity to change their mind about that. And we've had some really powerful discussions. In many ways, I think that the books that we chose for this year, thinking about the strategic plan that Dr. Zayadonis, you just presented, there's a lot of things that are cross-cutting the work that we are looking to do as an institution. So an opportunity to engage in DEI-like discussions and make connections across our entire health system by joining this book club. So hope that you all are able to join, or if not, able to at least read along with the books. And new this year will be a little bit more of a resource dashboard to pull in some other things like podcasts and TED Talks for folks who just may not be able to find the time to read, but still are very much interested in the issues. So I'll stop with that.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Next slide. The historical report. Thank you, everyone. We are almost there. Sabra Mota has done excellent work, and this should be coming out in the next week or 2. So thank you again, everyone, for your ongoing edits and contributions. Next slide. Akshay and Helene.
I will stop sharing, Dr. Sood, if you would like to share your screen. No, I do have a quick slide to show, but I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity. And Helene will be talking as well, but we have what's called the Academic and Community Faculty Scholars Program, which is part of the HRSA-funded New Mexico Center of Excellence, the goal of which is to increase diversity in the New Mexico workforce. There are interventions planned at the student and the faculty level. At the faculty level, I'm going to briefly talk about a very exciting program, which is called the Academic Faculty Scholars Program. And I'm going to quickly share, one figure that we have. As you might know, that the announcement went out for us to recruit 4 racial, ethnic, underrepresented minority academic faculty scholars. The program will start in June of 2023. The applications are due in February, and the selections will be completed in April. The components of the Academic Faculty Scholars Program is the selected scholars will create and strengthen their mentoring networks. These mentoring networks will include experienced mentors, as well as allow them to serve as a mentor for mentees. They will undergo a 6-month structured training program through a tele-echo program that is currently being developed. The competencies that they will develop is they will learn mentor development, networking, high quality connection, behavioral health training, cultural competencies, communication, and intercultural collaboration, and promotion and tenure. They would be encouraged to develop 1 of 4 customized career development tracks, either a research career or an interprofessional education career, or a medical leadership career, or a teaching career, using several of the opportunities, resources, and partners that are already available at the Health Science Center and beyond. In the last 6 months of the 12-month program, they will undergo a mentored scholarly project. So let me stop right here. My ask of you is please encourage URM faculty to really apply for this program. We really want racial, ethnic, underrepresented minority faculty to apply for this program and benefit from the resources of this program. 20% FTE will be paid for by a combination of the grant and the dean. So let me stop right here and let's ask Helene. Helene, would you like to say something about the Community Faculty Scholars Program that you're developing?
Yes, thank you very much. And I was wondering if you could put up on the screen again the announcement. That would be great. So the Community Faculty Scholars Program works hand in hand with the Academic Faculty Scholars Program as part of a broader faculty scholars program. And what we hope to do in this is develop a real group, a core cadre of community and academic faculty who are also from underrepresented in medicine groups or minority groups, who are will become part of a group of scholars throughout the Health Sciences Center, one from nursing, one from pharmacy, one from public health, and one from the School of Medicine, who work together to learn about how to be more successful at what they do. The focus for community faculty scholars is a little different from the academic faculty scholars, because the focus is primarily on their role in their communities, their responsiveness to their communities, their role as educators in their communities, and their role in their relationship as community faculty with UNM. Both scholars groups will be joining together, participating in the tele-echo, the faculty tele-echo program, and both groups will be able to benefit from what UNM has to offer its faculty. They'll benefit from specialized programs. They'll benefit from already well-launched mentoring programs. But what we hope to do is have a regional community focus as well in the Community Faculty Scholars Program. And we've distributed our announcements and hopes to recruit our community faculty. And we hope, because we have so many community faculty, we hope also to be able to expand our program as we successfully recruit faculty this year. We hope to expand it in the future. I know that we've gotten such positive responses from, I want to thank Carolyn in particular and the nursing school, as well as Don Godwin in the pharmacy program. I know that Patricia Finn is very interested in what we're doing also, because we all see that the University of New Mexico is the university for New Mexico. We're not just based in Albuquerque. Our community faculty are crucial to our mission period. But we also want to enhance our recruitment of those from underrepresented groups so that they can be real models in communities for our learners, so that they become community faculty when they graduate too.
Thank you so much, Akshay and Helene. I want to be mindful that we have Angela giving an update on DI efforts from the Comprehensive Cancer Center. So I really want to make sure that we get to her presentation. Doug, I think you have one question.
Yeah, thank you. Terrific presentation on these two important faculty scholars program. Yesterday, I was meeting with the former governor, Regis Pecos, and we were brainstorming on how to increase our numbers of Native American faculty in particular, but it fits right with what you're doing. And the idea was, why not have a health sciences student academic faculty development program where because we don't have enough faculty of color. We're growing as it relates to students, so thank you all. But how do we both grow our students? And Don Godwin's on the call. He and I talked a little bit about this earlier today. But this group could help us think about that.
So, Doug, I want to just say quickly, the ASSERT ARACTA postdoctoral training program that I lead, it's a K-12, is exactly that. It's an academic preparation for faculty careers of minority scholars. And it dovetails really nicely with the first grant that they just started on main campus. I don't know if we'll have any faculty feeding into that pipeline across the two campuses, but I think that will be a nice way to start.
Just to quick on this, I love the K-12 and I'm gung-ho, but it's a small group that's going to jump that big. We had, for example, 3 Native American DMP graduates, none that went into academics. How do we create clinician educators as well as clinician scientists? And again, I benefited from a medical student grant that got me into research when I never thought I would, and I'd be somewhere in Pennsylvania as a family doc if it wasn't for that. So that influenced my career. But I really think we got to have a wide range of faculty from our students. But thank you, Angela. I don't want to disagree with your excellent comment, but I just want to think also broader.
So with that, I'm going to ask for people to please post their questions and comments in the chat box. I just want to really afford Angela a moment to share her great work in pulling together perspectives from CCC and stay within our 1 hour block. Angela?
Thank you so much, JP. So I'm going to give an overview of 3 activities occurring in the Comprehensive Cancer Center that are interrelated. And I may skip over some of these slides because we're short on time, but we can share the whole slide set with the group. Sorry, where's the navigation? Why is it not working? Okay, here we go. Okay, so at the core of the Comprehensive Cancer Center are 3 research-focused programs. One is on cancer control and population sciences. So this is community outreach and community-based participatory research. The cellular and molecular oncology program, which is a bench research-focused program, and clinical translation, which moves us into the clinic with new interventions. And so supporting these research programs are 3 cores: the cancer research training and education, research training and education coordination core, the community outreach and engagement core, and the diversity, equity, and inclusion coordination core, which is a new core that we are growing. So I lead as associate director the Cancer Research Training and Education Core. I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. Kim Leslie, who's focusing on faculty development, and Dr. Therese Rutledge, who is doing clinical trainee development. Our activities are centered around these three specific aims, which were part of the Comprehensive Cancer Center renewal in 2021. And the first is to enhance cancer research education and training, particularly for underrepresented trainees, to diversify the cancer research and clinical care workforce. And secondly, is to encourage pursuit of careers in basic population, translational, and clinical cancer research through cancer-focused graduate, postgraduate, and fellowship programs. And thirdly, to promote translational cancer research through targeted mentorship, skill building, and interdisciplinary team building. And this takes us all the way up to the faculty level. So you see that we're spanning trainees from early stages, high school, through junior faculty levels. Our first aim is we have two programs that have been long running, and they intersect with activities that are broader than just the Cancer Center. The Undergraduate Pipeline Network is led by my colleague, Jennifer Gillette. And this is not only for cancer scholars, but also for students interested in research and spending the summer doing that. Undergraduate students, we had supplemental funding from the National Cancer Institute to inaugurate a Cure summer program, and that includes high school students through undergraduates. And so for our renewal in 2015 to 2020, our impact was reaching 115 Native American and Hispanic interns during that period. In AIM 2, I just want to give you a broad overview of the impact. AIM 3. So this is the mentor training of graduate students, MS all the way to MD, PhD students across a myriad of different fields and disciplines. The clinical fellowships, there were 2 new clinical fellowships launched by the Cancer Center, GynOnc, and Complex Surgical Oncology during this period. And then as well, there are 2 longstanding clinical fellowships that exist. We have a postdoctoral training program that trained 95 fellows, and 22 of those went on to be faculty. And in the CERT program that I lead, we had 4 Native American scholars, all of whom transitioned, 4 of them transitioned to faculty, and 1 other is in industry. For junior faculty, we mentored 68 junior faculty, and 62% of those were women or underrepresented minority, and 31% are in clinical disciplines. So overall, our track record is as follows: that we mentored or trained 537 students, postdoctoral and clinical fellows, 70% trainee diversity, which we think is huge. And in total, there was $11.5 million in funding related to the training programs or student support. And the students published 550 publications during this time, 31 with impact factor greater than 10, which is really huge. We have both internal and external advisory committees. This is our internal advisory committee. You can see it spans different colleges at the Health Sciences Center as well as to main campus. And we also have ex officio members. We are very grateful for their service, as well as Dr. Shalwanyasi from the Albuquerque Area Tribal Epidemiology Center, and 2 trainee representatives that rotate. So just to give you an overview of the types of activities that we do for this intersection of students that we serve, high school to undergraduate to junior faculty, we have professional development activities that are targeted to each of those groups and workshops, as well as mentoring activities. We include special events that include summer symposia for students and early stage faculty. We have what we call research slams. These are short presentations quarterly that are focused on specific cancer research areas. We offer travel awards to attend cancer focused meetings. And we have these grants that are funded that offer students fellowships or stipend support that help them, and so on. And we are working on improving our training and tracking. So since our renewal, what have we been doing? We've been awarded a number of training grants. We have submitted additional training grants, and almost all of these are focused on minority trainees. And one I want to highlight is that the geographic management program is sunsetting, which we were supporting Region 3, which is, the Southwest, not quite including California. But this is transitioning now to a team grant, and will be including UNM, NMSU, Northern Arizona University, and Burrell College in this submission. So those are sort of the most recent accomplishments. And then we've done a bunch of other activities, but in the interest of time, you can read that separately. So one of the other circles I mentioned is community engagement and research. And this is led by Andrew Sussman in the Cancer Center and a program manager, and Angelica Solares. And then there are all these community members who are giving input from the perspective of the community of the research related to cancer prevention or therapeutics or diagnostics, all those things in concert with the Cancer Center. And Dr. Kano is the DEI representative, and Chuck Wiggins represents the New Mexico Tumor Registry as part of this. So the New Mexico community engagement with the Cancer Center has been going on for about 50 years. And you can see all the things that they have been doing along that time. And it really started with the New Mexico Tumor Registry, started by Charles Key, and that's in our historical report. So the aims of the community outreach and engagement are listed here, and they're really focused on meeting the cancer-related needs of the whole state of New Mexico and working with communities to mitigate cancer disparities through communication and their engagement, and to conduct impactful cancer research that will improve and align with those community priorities, and also to disseminate and implement new cancer control strategies. So some of the things that have been done are shown here is to identify the disparities among American Indians and Hispanics in New Mexico, where the death rates are higher in those populations, and also for rural residents. In AIM 2, there's catchment monitoring, integration of the community voice, as well as in-reach at the Comprehensive Cancer Center. I know I'm going very speedily, but you will have these slides that you can look at in more detail. And then finally, AIM 3 is a partnership with the College of Pharmacy, where Johnny Lewis and many other faculty in the College of Pharmacy have been active in mitigating legacy uranium mining and the environmental exposures that come with that. They have engaged a Zuni Pueblo artist, Malaraquitaqui, to translate the science into images that can be communicated better with the individuals in the community. And they have also implemented a Thinking Zinc clinical trial, where zinc can displace the arsenic that is one of the environmental exposures. And then fourthly, they're very, very active in cancer-based education and dissemination through screening, presentations, skincare, et cetera. Okay, and they're supporting clinical trials in conjunction with the community. Finally, this is the new component of the Cancer Center that will be required when we go in for our submission, which, believe it or not, is just 2.5 years away. It's terrifying, gives me great hair every time I think about how fast this comes around. Dr. Kano will be leading this initiative. She is listed as co-associate director because I've taken my head off of this. I'm just a support. She's going to rock this. And then Dr. Teresa Rutledge and Jessica Belmonte will also be participating. And these are some of the distinct and synergistic activities of this Envision DEI unit, in terms of Cancer Center environment, workforce initiatives, community-facing initiatives, and also interacting with the cancer research, education, and training initiatives that I discussed with you already. So some of the working objectives are to establish this core, to decide to work on workforce development, which is a great intersection with this group. That's exactly what we're doing here, but really to make sure that we're recruiting a diverse group of faculty at the Cancer Center, and then work on the Cancer Center climate as we are as a health sciences center, but also specifically how is the climate for our students, our staff and faculty in the Cancer Center, and then to find all these points of intersection between these three units. So we've laid out a conceptual model that would ensure equal opportunity, create a supportive environment, and maintain diversity through the activities of this core. And some of the things that are underway. We've identified the leadership. We've posted a position to recruit staff. I serve on this council as a representative, so I communicate information back and forth. And then we have some action items that we want to move forward with. Here's some further action items. I think I want to leave it at that and then see if there are any questions. And I don't know what time it is right this second. So, 1 minute to the hour.
Excellent.
Rock on.
Dr. Mundinger-Ness, I will put your slides in the chat right now so that way everyone can have access to them.
Perfect. All right. So I realize we're out of time. So please, I would welcome any questions. You can shoot me an email if you want to participate in any way in any of the Cancer Center activities. You are most welcome to do so. So thank you for the opportunity.
I just want to thank you so much. Angela, you were the first. You have set the bar for those who come after. And I think, as Doug mentioned, you did an important job of outlining, describing your programs, but also outcomes and impact. And I think really helping us get the word out on what you're doing at the Comprehensive Cancer Center, but what everyone is doing. So I think what you've done is really going to help us let the state of New Mexico know that there's opportunities for them to become engaged. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. And let me just say, this TEAMS grant is all about cancer and making the network bigger across the entire state and into Arizona. So that's just the start.
So I know that some people have to depart. Thank you, everyone. I think this was a great meeting today. Continue to look over all of the content sent. I think we definitely, we'll create a space at the next IEC meeting for people to think about how they can coordinate and collaborate with Angela and Comprehensive Cancer Center. So look at the slides and think about how you would like to collaborate and coordinate with Angela and her team. And with that, we'll close out. I'll stay behind. Thank you, Amaris. Thank you, Amaris, for making sure that everything flowed nicely.
No problem.
Any questions from those who are staying behind? Sorry, Anthony, it would have been good to announce the 1,000th running medicine program this Saturday, which Wole now has called me and he said, yes, he's going to be in town. So he and I will run on Saturday. So he changes it every day. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be there. No, I'm not flying. Yeah, I'm going to be there. No, I'm not flying. So.
Well, JP, real quick, because the HSC Communications asked me what famous people are coming. I told them Amaris was coming. I told them Dion's coming. But what is your highest level title here at the HSC, so I can relay that to them?
I'll send it as an email. You could always take it from my signature line. I'm one of the few people that always puts their signature line. And I can ask my friend if he's okay being listed, because often that's governed by, he can show up, but I don't know if he can say that he's showing up as Man of Steel from Superman and Lois.
So wait, like he was in the movie?
No, he's on the TV show right now.
Oh, okay. Man of Steel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to do a little bit of looking.
I'll show you right now.
Please do. Please
Man
do to
of
help
Steel.
me.
This is maybe I'm more excited about him because he's my boy, and like seeing him on TV just makes me laugh. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you're like, JP.
No, it's just
famous.
it's just
Hey,
my
Dion.
lack of.
Amaris will tell me. Amaris will be like, JP, what are you talking about?
It's my lack of
Can
pop
you see
culture that's coming out here.
Can you see? Is it up on the screen?
No,
Dion?
it's just your background.
What about now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
That's him.
that's him. What's his name?
Willie Parks.
Wole Parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, steel curveball. Okay, I'm gonna be his biggest groupie here very, very shortly once I read a little
Ooh, they
bit.
even say his age, which is hilarious. I gotta tell him. He
How
can't
many
pretend he's 30.
in like the 100 New Mexicans that are gonna be out there, do you think 80 of them know him? Are gonna be like, oh my gosh,
Probably
swooning?
no one will know him. I just know him. I'm just excited. I'm so proud of him.
No. I mean, how many know? Like, how many will recognize when we introduce him as the Man of Steel? Like, will 80 people in a group of 100 know him?
I don't know.
I guess we'll do some data collection.
You may
Cool.
have to send his video clip ahead of time to anyone who's attending. I don't know. But for me, like I said, when you're proud of your friends, you make them seem to be more known than probably, but I don't know. He's been on movies too.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm more excited that we'll have you there, but that's exciting. I'll let our folks at the HSC Communications know.
I appreciate you, man.
Cool.
As soon as you're next door, I'll come by and say hello.
That's great. That's great.